renowned magician and a two-time champion of America's Got Talent.
Shin Lim, he just opened up his new Las Vegas residency. It's called Limitless, and he is so good.
So we know you've got actually a new residency in Las Vegas. Tell us about it and how it's different from your last show.
Are you? No! No!
Shin Lim's family just dropped a bombshell that could turn his entire story upside down. No one would have guessed that behind his mesmerizing magic tricks lies a hidden past filled with family disputes and sacrifices. This changes the way we see Shin Lim, the magician we thought we knew so well. What truth could be so powerful that his own family decided to reveal it now? Tune in as we dive into the shocking details they've kept hidden that are causing a whole nation to go crazy. From piano keys to card tricks. Born in Canada, Shin spent a chunk of his childhood in Singapore after his parents moved there. His family, like many others, wanted the best for him, which for them meant a stable career, something sensible. Magic wasn't even on their radar. It was all about getting good grades and securing a solid job, the kind where you wear a suit and have health benefits. But little Shin had other plans, though honestly, not at first. Originally, his thing was music. He was obsessed with the piano. He wasn't just playing around either, he was actually quite good.
Of course I was impressed. I mean, Shin, you did it yet again. You know, another jaw-dropping performance.
His parents probably thought, great, at least this hobby has some structure. Maybe he can become a music teacher or something. They saw a future for him in music and they pushed for it hard. Before we go any further, it's clear that Shin's path took a turn far more unexpected than his family ever saw coming, and this won't be the only surprise awaiting you. And for a while, he played along. He went to Lee University in Tennessee to study music, fully intending to turn it into a career. His family was feeling pretty optimistic. They had visions of their son becoming a respected pianist. But then one day, his older brother casually showed him a card trick and suddenly everything changed. Just like that, the piano was old news. He became obsessed with magic. It wasn't just a casual hobby, it became his new everything. He watched video after video, spent endless hours practicing, and eventually, music was left in the dust. Of course, his parents weren't thrilled. They had just gotten used to the idea of him being a musician, which was already a risky career. And now he wanted to do magic. Card tricks? They probably thought he had lost his mind. They tried to steer him back on course, reminding him about the plan, the stable future.
And you posted a photo with your key, but I couldn't help but notice.
But he wasn't having it. He dropped out of college, leaving behind the piano and the career his family thought was a sure bet. Instead, he wanted to bet everything on sleight of hand and illusions, which, let's face it, sounded like a pretty terrible idea. There was a lot of tension in the Lim household around this time. His parents thought he was making a huge mistake, and they weren't quiet about it. He, on the other hand, was convinced that magic was his true calling. He was willing to take the risk even if it meant going against his family's wishes. And while his parents couldn't see the logic in his decision, they eventually chose to support him. Maybe it was the sheer stubbornness he showed, or the fact that they realized he wasn't going to give up. Whatever it was, they decided to stand by him. But then came another twist. He developed carpal tunnel syndrome. For a magician, especially one who works with cards, this is a career killer. His hands, the most important tools he had, were in constant pain. It started as just a bit of discomfort, but it quickly escalated. The doctors told him to take a break, to stop doing the repetitive movements that were causing the damage. But he ignored them. He kept practicing, kept pushing despite the pain. His family watched as he put himself through agony, desperately clinging to his dream. They were worried. Probably thought he was being reckless, but they couldn't do much besides watch and hope for the best. Eventually, he found ways to manage his condition: physical therapy, exercises, and pure determination. He wasn't about to let a little thing like debilitating pain stop him. His family stepped in to support him during this time, helping him get the best care possible and trying to keep his spirits up. It wasn't easy, but they stuck with him, and eventually he was able to get back to performing, though the whole experience left its mark on him. Despite the rocky start and the health scares, his family eventually became his biggest fans. They had their doubts, sure, but as they watched him perform, first in small shows, then on bigger stages, they couldn't help but feel proud. His brother, the same one who had shown him that first card trick, was still there, helping brainstorm and perfect his acts. His parents, who had once hoped he'd just stick to music, were now in the audience cheering him on. Just when his family thought they had his future planned out, one card trick from his brother changed everything for Shin. The road to winning America's Got Talent. The big turning point for him was America's Got Talent, AGT. When he stepped onto that stage, it wasn't just about performing, it was about proving that he hadn't made a mistake. Winning AGT was a huge deal, not just for him, but for his family too. It was validation. All those years of practice, all the sacrifices, the arguments, the risks, it all led to that moment. And when he won, his family finally saw that maybe, just maybe, he had been right all along.
What do you want?
I don't know. I guess that one?
That one, or take it. Go ahead and grab it.
But with fame came other challenges. Suddenly he was in the spotlight and it wasn't all glitz and glamour. The pressure was intense. He had to keep performing, keep being the best. His schedule was packed and there was always another show, another interview, another expectation to meet. His family saw the toll it took on him. Fame isn't easy, and for him, the fear of not living up to the hype was very real. He struggled with self-doubt, and there were times when the stress seemed to overshadow the joy he once found in magic. His family, though, was there to keep him grounded. They reminded him that he was more than just a performer, that his worth wasn't tied to his latest trick or the number of views his videos got. It wasn't always easy to balance the public persona with the private struggles, but having his family by his side helped him navigate those murky waters. Then there's Casey Thomas, his wife. They met during a show, she was a dancer, and they hit it off almost immediately. Casey has been a huge part of his path, not just as his partner, but as someone who understands the pressures of performing. She's been there through the tough times, especially when he was dealing with his carpal tunnel and the mental strain of constantly being in the spotlight. She's helped him find a balance, pushing him to be his best while also reminding him to take care of himself. Casey has also been involved in his performances, helping him connect better with his audience and refine his stage presence. His family loves her, seeing her as someone who's genuinely there for him, both on and off the stage. Together, they make a solid team, supporting each other through the highs and lows of show business. And then, of course, there was the COVID-19 pandemic, which threw a wrench into everything. Live shows were canceled, and for a magician like him, who thrives on audience interaction, it was a huge blow. He was stuck at home, unable to do what he loved. The pandemic brought with it a lot of uncertainty, and for him it was a tough pill to swallow. He had spent years building his career, and now all of a sudden everything was on hold. The isolation got to him. There were days when he felt like he was losing his sense of purpose. His family watched as he struggled, and they tried to help him see that this was just a temporary setback. They encouraged him to think outside the box, to find new ways to connect with his audience. That's when he started experimenting with online performances. It wasn't the same as being on stage, but it was something. It allowed him to keep doing magic, even if it was just through a screen.
Just slide any card out. It doesn't matter if I see it. You can take
Okay.
a look at it, show
All
it to
right.
them.
Okay.
Wonderful.
The pandemic, while challenging, ended up being a period of growth for Shin. It forced him to slow down, to reflect, and to appreciate what he had. When live shows finally came back, he returned with a renewed energy and a deeper love for his craft. His family believes that the experience made him stronger, more resilient, and better prepared for whatever the future might throw at him. One of the things that has meant the most to him and his family is the impact he's had on young, aspiring magicians. He's inspired so many people to pick up a deck of cards and start learning magic. His family has received countless messages from fans who were moved by his story, who saw his dedication and decided to pursue their own dreams. For his parents, who once worried that magic was a dead-end career, seeing their son inspire others has been incredibly rewarding. As his family started to accept his choice, Shin faced a new struggle when his hands began to hurt from all his practice. More than just card tricks, Shin Lim's influence goes beyond just the tricks he performs on stage. His story is one of perseverance, of not giving up even when the odds are against you. His family takes pride in knowing that he's making a difference, that he's encouraging others to chase their passions, no matter how unconventional they might be. They've come to see his career not just as a personal success, but as something that's contributing to the larger world of magic and art. As for him, his path is far from over. His family believes that he's only just scratching the surface of what he's capable of. Despite everything he's been through, the health scares, the setbacks, the pressures of fame, he's still pushing forward, still trying to elevate his art. They know that he's not content with just being good, he wants to be the best. And with their support, they believe he can continue to surprise and inspire audiences for years to come. Shin Lim's story, as told by his family, is one that goes beyond the glitz of magic shows and TV appearances. It's about the sacrifices, the setbacks, and the small victories that happen behind the scenes. It's about the people who stand by you when things get tough, who believe in you even when the path you've chosen doesn't make sense. And for him, that support has made all the difference. It's what has allowed him to keep going, to keep perfecting his craft, and to keep sharing his magic with the world. So while the audience sees the polished, perfect performances, his family sees the late nights, the painful rehearsals, and the moments of doubt. They see the real person behind the magician, and for them, that's where the real magic lies, in the determination, the resilience, and the refusal to give up, no matter how impossible the dream might seem. There's no denying that Shin Lim's life appears to be straight out of a movie, complete with its highs, lows, and moments that leave people asking, how did he pull that off? From a young boy with no clear direction trying to satisfy his family's traditional expectations to becoming one of the most mesmerizing magicians on the planet, his story doesn't lack drama. It's a tale of defiance, talent, and an almost unhealthy obsession with making it big. When you strip away the applause and the fancy suits, you find a person who had to claw his way up, fighting through doubt, physical limitations, and a need to prove everyone wrong.
Right? Because it could have been luck somehow that it came to the top. There's a probability. So this time you grab the whole deck, do the exact same thing.
His love for magic wasn't always about fame. At first, it was about the thrill of creating something that defied logic. The sense of wonder it gave him was unmatched. He loved the looks on people's faces when they couldn't figure out how he'd done something. It was a high that he couldn't get from playing the piano, no matter how well he mastered a piece. And once he got a taste of that magic, he was hooked. He spent hours, sometimes entire days, practicing in his room, trying to get the tricks just right. And this wasn't just shuffling a deck until it looked smooth. No, he was dissecting every movement, studying every possible angle to make sure that when he performed, there was no flaw, no weak point that would give away the trick. Of course, this kind of obsession came with consequences. His friends, the few he had, started seeing less and less of him. Socializing took a back seat to magic. He stopped going to parties, ignored invitations to hang out, and spent all his free time perfecting his craft. Even his family, who lived with him, saw less of him as he spent hours alone with a deck of cards, barely coming out of his room except to eat or sleep. To him, it was all worth it. He had found his passion, and nothing else mattered. He didn't need distractions. He needed to be the best. Even with his family's worries growing, Shin's drive only grew stronger, leading him to greater success in magic than anyone expected. Pushing through pain for magic. His parents were supportive but worried about him. They wanted him to lead a balanced life with friends and activities outside his room. They had hoped he would find a stable job and maybe start a family one day. However, he chose a different path, pursuing a career in magic, which had no certain future. To them, magic was just a temporary interest, similar to how he once played the piano but eventually stopped. Despite their concerns, he was determined to stick with magic, even though it caused his family a lot of worry. Magic wasn't just a hobby for him, it was his passion. The idea of not being able to perform magic was unthinkable to him. He endured the physical pain it caused and tried various methods to overcome it, including physical therapy and exercises. Yet every time he handled a deck of cards, he risked his career. His family felt powerless as they watched him persist, unable to persuade him to take it easy. They feared he might lose everything he had worked so hard to achieve. Despite the physical discomfort and the risks involved, he continued to perform. He was not ready to abandon his dreams, even if it meant suffering. Miraculously, he managed to keep performing. He discovered techniques to mitigate the pain sufficiently to continue his career.
I didn't think the show could get any better because the show was pretty good at the Mirage, but
It was a tough battle, and there were moments he felt like quitting when the pain became overwhelming. But he never gave up. He kept fighting, striving not only to continue but to excel and become the best in his field. Through sheer willpower and determination, he kept pushing the boundaries of his magic. His performances became more polished and impressive, drawing larger audiences. He started gaining recognition in the magic community, and his career began to take off. As he became more successful, his parents began to see that magic was more than just a phase for him, it was his calling. Now, Shin travels the world, sharing his talent and passion for magic with others. His story is a testament to following one's passion against the odds, and his performances captivate those who watch him. Shin's magic has not only transformed his life, but also inspired others to pursue their dreams, no matter how difficult the path might seem. He proved that with enough determination and hard work, one can turn their passion into a successful career. Shin's story really shows how important it is to keep going and believe in yourself. He proves that making it big is possible if you're ready to tackle problems straight on without backing down. His experiences also highlight how crucial the support and understanding from family and friends are, even when they're not sure about your choices. As Shin keeps amazing people with his magic tricks, his life encourages all of us to never stop chasing our dreams. Every time Shin performs, he demonstrates what can be achieved with hard work and a deep love for what you do. His magic is more than just a way to entertain people. It's a strong showing of the battles he's fought and the victories he's claimed. When Shin steps onto a stage and expertly handles each card, he's not just performing tricks, he's sharing a part of his life and passion. His path has been filled with magic, hardship, and success, weaving a story that reaches out and grabs the hearts of many. It moves people to believe in the power of their own dreams. So, if you've ever felt stopped by the hurdles in your life, let Shin inspire you to keep going and chase what you love. You never know what you can achieve until you try to make your dreams a reality. Watching Shin perform, you can see the incredible results of sticking to your path and using your talent to the fullest. His path from a young magician to a world-renowned performer is a clear example of what dedication and passion can bring. It's not just about the applause or the moments under the spotlight, it's about pushing through the tough times, the doubts, and the pain. Shin's story isn't just inspiring, it's a call to all of us to never give up on ourselves. Is Shin Lim's family revealing the full truth, or are there even deeper things waiting to be uncovered? Tell us what you think, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.